It's time for BSSAC Off Track in the Back Room, where we meet the men and women behind preparing the athletes from the various schools for the 2024 Barbados Secondary Schools Athletic Championship.
It's that time of the year. School sports is in full swing, and it got going only yesterday where defending girls champions Springer Memorial held their inter-house competition. Today only there were 4 schools. Combermere, Dighton Griffith, the Law School and the St. Michael School also have sports out the bag. Now over the years we focus on the athletes, their performances, their training schedules and their successes. But have you ever stopped to think, who are the men and women behind these athletes, the ones training them and preparing them for the BSSAC championships? Welcome to In the Back Room, where we are going to focus over the next 4 weeks on some of the physical education departments at some of the secondary schools. And where best to start than at the college boys, Harrison College. Let's meet the 3-member team who's going to lead them and hopefully to success again.
Ryan Leacock, Sophia Eiffel, and Adrian Thorne. These are the faces of the members of the Physical Education Department at Harrison College. And when we visited the school, they were hard at work conducting eliminations ahead of the upcoming inter-house competition, all in preparation to defend the boys' title at BSSAC. Compared to other schools, the department is pretty small. But as we hear from Mr. Leacock, who's at the helm, they get the job done.
We have a really good mix. Mr. Thorne, he has up the track and field program. Obviously, I oversee the entire program. Ms. Eiffel, she works heavily now with the throws. I would assist with the jumps, and Mr. Thorne always deals with the track. So we try to split that way between throws, jumps, and track. Considering we have a department of 3, it is quite difficult because we generally have the biggest team since they cut it to 100. But still, prior to that, we would have the biggest team because we are big on participation. So hence the numbers. So balancing the team, getting the right mix can be a little challenging, and it takes a while to get done.
As Mr. Leacock said, participation is not much of a struggle at 8C. But how do they motivate the students?
What we tend to do here at Harrison College is offer as diverse as possible in terms of sporting activities and physical activities. We think once we spread that base, we enhance our participation, and that can set the tone for the track and field, the basketball, the tennis, the cricket, and all of the sports we're involved in.
Many are saying college will be hard to beat. After all, they have dominated the boys' championships for decades. And this year, they'll be doing all in their power to return to Crumpton Street with that title again.
As you can see in the background, we're going to throw out 1500. Now we've covered all of our field events. And we think our team will be competitive as per usual. It's going to be very difficult. We aim always to be competitive, and as history will show, we are the most dominant team in the boys. I think we had maybe 12 or 14 championships, something like that. So we will plan to be competitive as always.
Knowing just how important defending the title is Principal Kayleen Kelman Holder, a past student herself, and she says the legacy must continue.
Because you know you've had this legacy, so to speak, no one wants to be the one responsible to break that. So it inspires each generation to come to aspire to that.
That drive to be the best is something ingrained in the rich history of the school, and systems are put in place from early to ensure all students have that motivation going into the track and field term.
Our initial efforts to hype up the school, as you say, started from the very first week of this term, when we allowed the full school to view the award that the school received for the most outstanding secondary school. And that award on that very first assembly was presented to the captains of all the varying sporting teams that contributed to the win. So we invited the track and field personnel, we invited the basketball, volleyball, all of them. So they all came on stage and they all gave, they all got a taste of it in terms of they got to touch it. And of course they all gave a cheer. And that started the hype, because being awarded as the most outstanding secondary school for the calendar year 2023, I think that's an excellent foundation to build on and to motivate students to achieve even further.
Prepping a team for any competition comes with financial costs, and HC has been lucky to have a strong support system.
All schools, of course, are allocated funding by the government of Barbados, and the funding is used in various ways. But as far as possible, we ensure that our athletes have what they need to perform. As we speak, the gear for the track and field team, they are on order and they are being customized and so on, so that our athletes will be well turned out as they parade and as they perform their various events. And that is fully supported by not only the school's budget, but also by the efforts of our Parent-Teacher Association, which is very, very vibrant. So then all of our partners come together. They've all come together and embraced the fact that, that is the only way that we can make this a reality and continue to do it year after year. Because you would imagine that to sustain that effort year after year, it requires those inputs. So planning from very, very, very early and making the sporting a priority within the school's timetable, plus providing the necessary financial resources. Those are some of the main ways in which we support.
And of course, there is that word of warning to the other schools.
Watch out. Harrison College will not roll over and play dead. We will be giving all other schools a run for their proverbial money.
So while the athletes get into tip-top shape, fine-tuning their form and techniques, these are the men and women at Harrison College who are overseeing that the team's readiness is at its peak for BSSAC 2024.
So from a school looking to defend their title to a school on the rise, when we return, we head to the east to the most improved school from last year's BSSAC championship. Welcome back to Off Track in the back room, where as promised we're going to head to the east of the island to Princess Margaret Secondary. Let's meet the physical education department there behind that team.
Greg Springer, Torian Williams, Kerry Beckles, and Head of Department Julian Griffin. When we arrived in 6 Road St. Philip and walked onto the field at the Princess Margaret School, training was in session and every member of the physical education department was on hand, and mind you, after working hours. This is the dedication many don't see from our teachers as they prep the athletes for the BSSAC championships. Dubbed the school on the rise, over the past few years we've seen the team from the East signal that they are to be watched as contenders now and in years to come. This is not something that just happened overnight, as Mr. Griffin explains.
It has been, I would say, an ongoing process over a number of years where we have been obviously recognized that the school was at the bottom of the pack for quite a long time, and we have started to put plans in place to improve and see what changes we could bring about to lift the school in terms of our performance at BSSAC and in other sporting areas as well. One major change that's taken place would have been the inclusion of Ms. Beckles, Kerry Beckles, to the staff. that has helped a lot. She's brought a lot of talent, skills to the department, experience from her performance on the world stage over the years, and the way that she came in and she fit right in and she gelled with the department. She really gelled with the students, and we saw an increase in the number of students coming out to practice. I think there's one major change in number of students that would stay back and want to be a part of the program, because once you start to perform well, then students want to be a part of a winning team. Regular practice sessions, certainly her dedication. We'll also have to mention Mr. Springer. He has also been a force in the department, especially in the area of the field events. So, looking at the overall plan that we put together, I think those are some of the things that help to lift the school and improve our performance at BSSAC.
You may say having an Olympian on your coaching team is a major boost, but for Kerry, it's more about her dedication to getting the best out of her athletes than just imparting the knowledge she gained from being on the world stage.
My focus and something that I've done for years is mentally prepare the kids. So once they're mentally prepared and their self-confidence is up, the self-esteem is up, the morale in the school is basically my target. Once I have that, then we can gear towards the physical training aspect of it, because then they know this battles ain't come to play when it comes to training. So I mentally prepare the kids for what I expect them to, how I expect them to perform, and then everything else becomes a little easier.
Much talk has been about the improvement of the team, especially in the hurdles event, which one might say is a given, as Kerry was a national hurdler herself. But you'll be surprised to know
there is no hurdle program at Princess Margaret. What you saw at BSSAC was kids going to the next dimension, and hurdlers are crazy people. You get bored in training by just running around. So these kids want to try out, well, Mom, I want to do hurdles. Last year, this is what happened. I put the hurdles out. I said, guys, we're going to try hurdles today. They went over, I looked at the ones that had technique that I didn't have to clean up too much. And then on the day, they just decided, okay, I can take 3 steps, because practice, I couldn't get them to do 4 steps. They were doing 5 and 6. Then when we got close to BSSAC in the warm-up, they were 4 stepping. And then they get on the line, I was telling Mrs. Springer, I hope they get to these hurdles and no 6 step. And then all of a sudden they're doing 3 step. And then the 4 hurdlers, all of a sudden they can switch. So like, also I was playing around in practice. But then after BSSAC, we started putting in a little bit more work. So this year's a lot more easier. Really and truly, there's no hurdle program here. As people would think that I'm a hurdler, that I will push a hurdle program. It takes a lot to be a hurdler. I'm not gonna just throw kids in there. I need to make sure their hip flexor is strong, their core is strong, their back is strong, their quads are strong as well. So until that aspect of their training is secured and it has gone through the process I want them to go through, then I can introduce them to other parts of track and field, which will be the hurdles.
with a 17th place finish in the boys and 8th in the girls, the aim is to improve on those places.
Last year was rough because I was new to it, but this year is a little easier. I have back basically my whole team from last year. I lost probably like 5-6 students, but this year is going to be a little easier. I have newcomers, so it's all about seeing what we do with a new format at sports and who else comes out and see what adds to the team.
Having recently taken up leadership of the school, Principal Veronica Ann-Marie is no stranger to BSSAC or sports, not only being a former physical education teacher, but also a volunteer found usually in the long jump area at BSSAC. This year, leading her troops from the east, she's thrown her full support behind the team and shares the vision for them to go to higher heights.
Here at the Princess Margaret Secondary School, we have been supporting the PE department and their initiatives. They have started team building. They have built the students' self-confidence, self-esteem, and working as a team, and we are seeing the results. We are seeing the results. Last year, I would have to say it was their personal best in terms of overall in the zonal and the final overall championship. So it says that things are paying off. We have also started to do some rebranding. We are known as the Jaguars. And having that title, you know, it symbolizes strength, courage, determination, and we are seeing it turning over in the students' performances in the events that they have been doing last term and they're continuing to do now.
And while Mr. Griffin and his team is putting in the work on the field, off the field, Mrs. Anna Agard is guiding the charge.
The school's motto is, let's seek higher things. And that's what we have been hammering home with our students. Try. You don't know what talent you have, but we are here to support you, and we are your best cheerleaders, and we are rooting for you. And they're feeling that vibe, that positive vibe that we are sharing, and they're giving it a try, and they're recognizing that talent they had there hidden all along.
Reiterating that motto, let's seek higher things. These are the faces of the quartet seeking to drive the Princess Margaret BSSAC team to higher placing in 2024.
So we just went into the back room of the physical education department at Harrison College and the Princess Margaret Secondary as they gear up their teams for the upcoming Dasani Powerade BSSAC Championships. And here's a reminder of those dates.
It starts on March 5th through 7th with the field event championships at Harrison College before the zonal meets on March 11th and 12th, 13th and 14th, before 3 days of finals from March 20th to 22nd. This year also sees the Interhouse Sports hosted under the Dasani Powerade BSSAC School Series, where Ellerslie is this coming Thursday on the 15th at the Carlton Ground, while the next day, Friday the 16th, is jam-packed with 7 schools on that day: Princess Margaret, Darrell Jordan, Ann Hill School, Alexandra, the Allen School, Corydon Parry, and Queen's College, all in action.
So tune in next week where we'll be here with the St. George Lions at St. George Secondary School, and then head to Martindale's Road for the St. Michael Cougars. That has been BSSAC Off Track in the Back Room. I'm Ann-Marie Burke.
We just met some of the men and women behind the school teams for the 2024 Barbados Secondary Schools Athletic Championship.